So, today we're going to be talking about should be South Africa's number three batter for the tests down under in Australia. And that is because there was news that broke about Keegan Peterson's injury that it's going to be longer than expected and he's going to miss the tour. So, we're going to need a new number three. And that was a question sent to us by Desert12 on Instagram. And this is the fans Q&A session where you guys get to ask me questions and I answer them as best as possible. So, guys, let's get straight into it. I don't want to waste too much time. First and foremost, you guys please need to download the latest issue of Cricket Fanatics magazine monthly. You can also help us grow and promote South African cricket by becoming a patron. Go to cricketfanaticsmag.com for all updates. And of course, the number one thing that you have to do is if you are new to the channel and you haven't quite yet, click that red button, subscribe if you're new, and click that notification bell for all future videos. So without further ado, let's get straight into today's video. Looking forward to discussing this one with you. It's just me on tonight's show, guys, so you guys can ask me any questions that you would like to know, and I'll try to answer them as best as possible. A very good evening and welcome to Cricket Fanatics magazine. This is your Q&A session, your fan Q&A session. I'm your host Khalid, and this is the show where I get to answer all of your questions as fans, and that's what we're going to be doing on today's show. Of course, I'm going to try and answer them as best as possible, and try and have an opportunity to do so with you guys on the show to ask me questions. But let me, and then we'll obviously answer the main question, which is obviously who should be the number three in tests. It was actually asked like this by Desert12. He says, who would most likely who would most likely to get the nod to play number three in the test team in Australia? That was the question that was asked us. So I think let me go ahead and answer this straight away. There are a couple of guys that have been on the radar for a while now as the number three. You could say in the past it would have been Zubair Hamza, Reinhard van Tonder. It would have been Keegan Peterson, who already got an opportunity. But there were some also players that were hard done by in the number three position in the past, such as Tianus de Bruin, who I feel should have gotten an opportunity at number three. He batted lower down the order, but did really well, and I thought he should have gotten an opportunity in his natural position. We also have to take into consideration that the return of Rassie van der Dussen and Temba Bavuma into the team. We also have to consider who is currently performing in the domestic scene. Now, we can't really say from the first game because there's been quite a few rain-interrupted games and bad light games, and only really a couple of players really performed in their positions. I think Yanaman and Malan did a great job, and Calvarena did an okay job for Western Province, but we haven't necessarily got to see. Mapungwana did an amazing job too. I was very impressed with the way he batted. So from the games that I've seen, and Stian van Zyl also performed, but I mean, I don't think we're going to see a recall of Stian van Zyl anytime soon. I don't think. So it would have been Reinhard van Tonder for me as one of the players leading the race. But he hasn't been selected for the Knights, which is a shocker for me, and I think that needs to be spoken about, or we have to look into that. But it's very, very strange to me what has happened there and why he hasn't played, given that he's played for SAA, given that he's been quite consistent for the Knights over the last 3-4 seasons. I mean, last season wasn't his best season. I know he tapered off a little bit maybe, but he still averaged over 43, I think, for the season, and he also played for SAA. He was selected in the SAA side, so it's shocking that he's not playing for the Knights. Looking at Yanaman, he's batting 4 for the Boland, or for the Rocks, and he looked very good on a wicket that did look very good for batting as well. But ultimately, he held his own and he answered the call. You know, Dean Alga has been put out a call. He did an exclusive with Ungama for us. and he put out a call there for all domestic players to perform. I mean, he got a duck, and it seemed like he wasn't out there. He was disappointed with the decision. So, yeah, I mean, if we didn't know that, and it didn't, and it was a little bit iffy around that. It would be great to see Dane Alga obviously perform as well, and do what he's asked the others to do too. But currently, with the current setup, I think what will happen in the end is that we won't be getting a new three. I have a feeling that Rassi will bat three, Temba will bat four, and Rickleton and Carl will bat five and six. That's what my feeling is about going into this match, into this test series. I do feel that someone needs to come in for cover. Um, and I do think that it's important that we give people opportunities that have also been performing well over the last couple of years. The ideal thing for me would have been for the number three position would have been that we had a youngster that has been consistent over the last 3-4 seasons and has been putting on the runs consistently and put up his hand. And that guy gets the opportunity now to play. That would have been the ideal situation or scenario for me. But unfortunately, the one guy that we have mentioned, or that I have mentioned, that I think has done that. Yes, he struggled a little bit in the subcontinent conditions, or maybe in the conditions outside Bloom, even though he does have a 60 at Durban, is Reiner van Tonder. But as I said, as we've spoken already about it, he hasn't been selected in the current team, in the current squad that's currently playing. So it makes it a little bit hard for me to think about who there is. I like the look of Jordan Herman, but I think it's maybe just a season too soon, maybe. I mean, Matthew Bretsky is an opener for me in my eyes. He's not opening currently for the Warriors. Um, and Tianis the Brain has experience. He's played for years in domestic cricket, averaging over 60 in more than one season, I think, if I remember correctly, of course. And yeah, so it makes it quite tricky for me to make this decision and say who should come up for cover. I think at the moment, based on you can't go necessarily based on form, because if you're going to go based on form, then TNS does not make it. Based on what happened, you don't know what's going to be happening. You can't necessarily say what's going to happen with TNS yet, because that game is still on and it's in play. The Titans obviously got off to a very bad start as well. The entire not top. I wouldn't say top order. It's top to middle order was taken out with it for Ducks. It's crazy that Deva Brevis didn't make this team. Absolutely shocking. I mean, there's three Ducks, including the captain in this particular match. It's just crazy that Deva didn't get an opportunity to play. If they are looking at him for the future and plan for the future, it's madness. We're gonna have to see what TNS does in this particular match. The Knights, and there was no play on Friday because of rain, so we can't really look at that. So current form we can't pick on. We're gonna have to pick on experience. But I think Rassi will play at three. That's what I think will happen. But for backup, I think they need to maybe look at a guy like Dennis De Bruin again, and maybe go in and have a chat with him, because I think it's been a little bit hard done by in South African cricket in the last couple of years, especially after getting 100 in Sri Lanka. Okay, let's move on. We can't go. Um, okay, let's go to some of the questions over here that is in the live chat. We've got Lawrence Bailey. I'll start at the top. Janaman Malan played himself into the conversation with that 132 against the Warriors. Tiernus the Brain is another one that could do the job in a position, but probably going to go with Rassi at three. That's actually exactly what I was talking about. David Bedingham should be number three for the Proteas if he's fit. Okay, so the confirmation on David Bedingham, I chatted to him to give you guys an update. He had a serious injury. He's injured his shoulder, and it will take a while for him to come back. That is the update from him. It's most likely that he's going to miss the 4-day series. So wish him well, guys. Hope that he comes back strong. Another person that I can also confirm is that Peter Malan is also doing his recovery. So that's another guy that's out that won't be able to have an opportunity to come and play. I was really hoping that he would push for Proteas position. I do believe that he could push Sarel Erwe for that number, for that opening spot. But unfortunately, he was also injured after getting injured in the T20 Challenge. So that's two injuries that I can confirm with you, as well as Keegan Peterson. So it does cause a lot of issues, but the now experienced players are dropping out. Also, I think we should address the Temba comments. I think that the Temba comments were taken out of context completely. What I've seen on Twitter, people going haywire about what Temba said. Um, Perhaps we can go through it together if you guys want to. I do have the recording, but I think it was taken out of context to imply certain things, like to put players against each other, which I don't think is right. What was done in the particular piece that was being mentioned, I think it also been a little bit maybe misread. Um, there's an insinuation that that is the case, but it's not exactly how it was said. Now, we didn't, unfortunately, you guys won't know that. Um, um, because we didn't get the video presser for me to be able to upload it for you guys to watch it. I do have the recording though, and we can have a listen to it if you guys want to. If you do, you can put the ones in the chat and we can listen to the recording. It's just a very long recording. I don't know if you guys want to sit through it now or should we do a different show from it. But if you do want me to play the recording, let me put the ones in the chat and I will see if I do that. Who is going to be captain for the 2023 ODI World Cup? I don't know. It's going to be dependable on Temba Bavuma deciding what he's going to do with his career now, whether he's going to stay captain or step down. At this moment, he's the captain. Although I believe, or I feel weird about this one, because I definitely think that he should give up the T20 captaincy now, and because I think we need to be more precise with our selection with regards to that opening spot. I'm starting to get very nervous about the T20 team, because I feel like there are a couple of guys in this team perhaps that might be thinking of moving on. I don't know how long Riley Rousseau is going to stay. I don't know how long Quinton wants to play for South Africa still. I'm a bit concerned about it. And Temba, we probably will lose too, I think, in T20 cricket. If we want to go a different direction, I think we need to press the reset button. So what I would like to see actually is a whole reset. Seeing that we're probably going to have to play playoffs anyway, we might as well go with a new young team. I mean, I want to see the reset button pressed and us build towards the future, because I feel that there are enough youngsters that are showing potential that is potentially first team quality or national team quality in the future. So I would like them to grow and learn from the experiences. That would be awesome if that was happening. If that could happen. Oh, I didn't tell you guys also why I wasn't here last night, why I missed the show. A friend of mine pre-booked Black Panther on opening night at IMAX, so I had the opportunity to go to that and watch it. So I'm not going to give any spoilers. So if you guys want to know about me, the only thing I will tell you guys is I think everybody should watch it. I think it's a good movie. It's not necessarily only Marvel. It's for only Marvel fans or whatever. I think it's a good movie in general for anybody to be able to watch it. It's a drama. I would say it's drama, action, comedy. The slight comedy, not much. You know that Marvel always has that tinge of comedy in it. But generally speaking, it's more of a drama than action, I would say. It's a very, very heartwarming, emotional movie, a roller coaster. Take your tissues with you if you get emotional for these type of things. If you're not, then you can go there with your beer and your stony. I'm joking. Anyway, I will back the brainer at number 3 in tests and ODIs. They didn't give him a proper chance in the test format. They made him open play at number 3, at 4, at number 7, and didn't make him settle at one position. I don't think what they did with him was right. I've said this many times. People seem to forget that how Temba and Riza's situation is affecting the Hendricks family at large. Even Riza's wife was shocked with what Temba said, but yet again, some will still try and defend Temba. I don't know if she was shocked by what Temba said or she was shocked by the article and the way the article was written or what the article was trying to insinuate. So we must actually find out what that is because you need, if you go listen back to the recording, you will hear that it wasn't like they were insinuating. Really, it wasn't. Riza and Temba are friends. You guys forget that teammates for years. They are very close. So the way they insinuated, the way they suggested what was being said, is not what was said. So you guys need to be careful also what you believe when you read things. Be very, very, very careful. Um, for the tour, Van der Dussen, I agree. I'm not confident with our batting lineup with Temba not in form and Rassie coming back from injury. I don't know if you can say that Temba's not in form. He hasn't been in form in T20 cricket, yeah. It was poor in T20 cricket. But in test, he's been pretty decent. Actually have a stat for you. Um, if I can find it now. Over the last 2 years, Temba Bavuma averaged in 2021 53 and 2022 42.8. And if you look at the other batters, the top batters like Rassie van der Dis and Aiden Dean, who have also been compared to, who have also been in the team that have been struggling. Dean Alga averaged 44.2 in 2021, and in 2022 he averaged 24.12. Aiden Markram in 2021 averaged 34.6, and in 2022 15.5. Rassie van der Dussen 37.2 and then 27.6. I took this off Pop Increases Twitter. She posted that, which was something that was interesting. So that's some interesting stats to show what Bavuma has been doing. He's been in incredible form in Test cricket. So I'm not really worried. We actually need him to come back to solidify our Test team. That explanation was absolutely full from Bavuma. He should be ashamed of himself. I've already explained that. I don't know why Bavuma has not been sacked yet from captaincy. What are they waiting for? Bedingham is injured. Yes, I've just confirmed Bedingham is injured. Just like it's a season too soon for Brevis. Um, yeah, I mean, in Test cricket, I think yes. Definitely. I think we haven't even seen him play red ball cricket. I can even really call for a guy to play Test cricket. In T20 cricket, I mean, we can ease there, but start easing him into it. It depends how we're going to go with it. Based on form, when do we ever go on form? Yeah, when do we ever go on form? I take Tony or Tiernes as cover. Tony deserves is another good shout, I feel, for number 3. It is someone that I believe can take that spot and solidify it and make it his own. Before I was obviously mentioning guys that have already been in the mix around it for that position. Tony is one of my favorites also for the position. I think that he has what it takes. He didn't get a great start, of course, in the 4-day, but I'm sure he'll have a good season. The season's going to be important for him, I feel. It will really tip the scales in his favor tremendously if he can get some good runs. Just waiting for another series selection blunder from Alga in the Australia series. Very difficult for Dewald to come into the playing 11 for the competition this season. Klaasen will also come back at it. It wasn't for this round, though. It shouldn't have been difficult in this round. Anyway, Eddie Moore can also open for us. Eddie Moore is a possibility. Needs a very, very good series or season. No, Khalid, absolutely not. I knew this was going to happen. Temba said what he said. Why would Riza's wife even be pissed? Let's do the recording. Riza's wife was fuming on the treatment of Riza. I haven't seen this, to be honest. I haven't seen this. I saw the wow on Twitter. I never saw that. I'm sorry, the disciplinary Riza gets is absolutely absurd. No, man, guys, come on now. But I haven't disrespected Riza once. So I don't know who you're talking about. Who is disrespecting Riza? I haven't disrespected Riza. I mean, I've said that he should have played, and I'm peeved. I mean, now, Riza's a friend of mine, so I would want him to play. So I haven't disrespected him. Um, I can definitely tell you that Leanne is pissed from what I've tweeted about Riza. She always reacted. So clearly, all is not well. But it's normal for him to be pissed. Of course, he'll be pissed. I mean, how can he not be pissed? I expect him to be pissed for not playing. I mean, and for the all the effort that he's put in. But I think that the words have been twisted a little bit of what Temba had to say. Okay, let me try to find it for you guys, and let's try to listen to what he had to say. We want to make it about this now. Um, no matter what happens, we're always gonna have to end up talking about Temba. Um, let me try to find it now.
Before yes, I am happy with that. But I mean, like I said, when a team performs like that,
Let me just see. Let me play a bit of it.
in terms of
your personal effort
Here's
into
about his
this, I'm sure you've
personal
had also a
his
chance
personal
to just
effort
sort
and
of
his personal
reflect if
performance.
you think you would have given enough,
Can you guys
maybe
just
for this. How
block those
what
people,
is
please,
your
and
personal
report them?
assessment in terms of your effort as a leader?
yeah, I think, I mean, when a team performs like that, when a team doesn't reach expectations, questions are going to be asked. People are going to come at the leaders. I mean, I am the captain of the team, so it's expected that people will, ask questions about me, take a deep look at my role, at what I've contributed to the team's performance. It's obviously been a challenging time for myself. Uh, and I think with the team, I felt as a team, we've done a very good job in terms of supporting each other, giving each other the necessary confidence amidst everything that's been happening. Could I say that I'm happy with my personal performances? No, not happy. Am I happy with the way that I led the team? Yes, I am happy with that. But I mean, like I said, when a team performs like that, people are gonna come at the leaders, and I think it's important that the leaders do have the answers to whatever questions that are thrown at them.
Okay, so that's it. That's him taking responsibility, saying that his performance wasn't good enough, which is pretty obvious, and I won't give him brownie points for that at all. Not at all, because it's just telling the truth. Let's move on. Let's see what else he says.
Mashadze from Times Live. My question is for the skipper. Skipper, I just want to find out through all the tournament,
Here we
in
go.
terms of tactics and what you guys do behind the scenes, was there ever a stage where discussions were held in terms of the makeup of the team, given individual performance of players who were struggling and stuff like that, of changing things around, maybe taking a different direction?
I think in terms of the strategy, I mean, those conversations happen pretty much every game. And I think, as you would have seen, we tried to select a team that spoke to the conditions that we expected. In terms of form, I think, I mean, it's at the World Cup. You're always going to show confidence to the guys who you feel are in your best 11. And that's exactly what we did. Yeah, there might have been players who weren't on form, as you say. But I mean, you still have to show faith. You still have to show confidence in those guys that they can still put in match-winning performances. The last thing you want in a World Cup is to be giving maybe someone who doesn't have the type of experience, someone who hasn't come across all the emotions that come with being a World Cup, and expecting him to do the business for the team. Yeah, those conversations did happen. Those conversations happened before every game. No, I don't think I'm going to go specifically as to which players were spoken about, but I mean, those conversations do happen, as they would happen in any series.
So that's what was said, and I don't. Riza's name wasn't mentioned there. Um, when he's talking about experience and pressure, yet Stubbs played. He might be preferring to Stubbs when he's saying when they dropped him, of course, and they played Klaassen in his place, but they never mentioned Riza Hendriks' name at all in the sentence. That question wasn't even about Riza alone. They tried to get him to talk about Riza, but he never mentioned Riza's name there. And that's the quotes that they used to insinuate that he said this about Riza, which is not what was said. But that's not what I hear when I listen to it. At least if I listened to that recording and I had to write the story, my story wouldn't be about Riza Hendriks at all if I heard those quotes. So strange that only that not many publications picked up on this. I'm not going to be. Let's move on and see if maybe anything else said.
If you can just get the mic over there without distorting the cameras.
Temba, it's Panther from ENCA. Your now previous coach, Mark Barcher, spoke about the fact that there seems to be a mental hurdle when it comes.
Yeah, this is about the mental hurdle and stuff. So we can, if you guys want to go in deep into that particular presser, then let me know and I'll do that, because we weren't given the presser in a video format. That's why I didn't upload it on the channel. And yeah, there's no such. I know you guys are going to read into it and say indirectly it says talking about Riza because this, and the other. He didn't mention Riza's name, and he did that out of he didn't want to mention the players' names. He said specifically players. He's not going to say which players they spoke about. So I just think it's a bit harsh to have a go at Temba for what he said, because I don't think he necessarily singled out anybody specifically in those quotes that he mentioned. So that's just my opinion on it. You guys can go run with your own assumptions that if you want to. That's totally up to you. But from what I heard in that particular recording and those particular quotes, taking that out of context like that and making a story out of it, when no people were mentioned in it, I think it's a bit. I don't think that's a good way of doing it, I think. But okay, let's move on. Let's see if there's more questions here for me to answer before I say bye to you guys. We need Paddy Upton as a mental coach. We just need a mental coach. If it's Paddy Upton or whoever it is, we need a mental coach in general, and etc. I think we do need a mental coach in general. I said it in my particular article too. I said that that's one of the things. A sports psychologist or a mental coach is very important. Recently, there was an article written on Cricket Fanatics magazine, actually, by Migro, which talks about choking. And I think you guys should go and actually have a read at that. If you type it in, I think you'll find it in some of the articles. I'll try to add it to one of the latest articles again for you guys to find it. But it's basically what you can learn from an Australian sheep farmer, what you can learn about choking, what the protests can learn about choking through that. So the Temba Klashile, Riza Hendriks. Huh? About what's this related to? We need 2 or 3 batting all-rounders seriously in all formats. Other than Pretorius, there is no one. There's Delano Potgieter. There's Jason Smith now that's doing a pretty good job. I think Dejan Khalid is starting to come into his own. Ayak Rahman is showing some good form. Gerald Coetzee is showing some great form, but more with the ball. Farisco Adams should be selected, I think, in the T20s at least, minimum. So there are quite a few all-rounders coming through the system. I'm hoping that more and more come through, especially those youngsters. Do you agree with what he said, though? I've been very consistent in what I think. I've said directly many times that in World Cups, you should be picking on form. But I have seen in many World Cups how coaches seem to. It's been a common thing where coaches seem to trust certain players regardless of their form. And if you look at the current World Cup squads that have been announced for the World Cup in Qatar, the Football World Cup, you would see that. Look at what Southgate does. He selects certain players that you know shouldn't be there. Like Harry Maguire shouldn't even be in that squad the way he's performed. He's barely played. Why is he in the World Cup squad? Because Southgate believes that he trusts him and trusts his ability. Then you look at a guy like Van Gaal too. Why is Daley Blind in the side? I'm a big Dutch fan and I've supported the Netherlands. My flag flies Dutch. And for this particular World Cup, he picked someone like Daley Blind, who I feel has been in terrible form. Ajax has been doing terribly, which is my second team, and yet he's still on the plane going to Qatar. So there's quite a few things that coaches do that is disappointing, and they seem to be doing that, and that's what Boucher did too. There's certain players that he stuck with no matter what. There's certain favorites he had, and certain people that he wanted to stick with, and unfortunately, others suffered. And for us to blame Bavuma alone for Riza not playing is not fair, because the selection panel and Boucher also had a say in that. So, yeah, I think it was wrong. I think Riza should have played in this World Cup. He was in form. I said that many times. And yeah, and I said anybody could be droppable for him too. I said in certain grounds, in certain conditions, even Riley could have been dropped for Riza Hendricks. But Temba was the one that's out of form, and that is the logical replacement. So I've spoken enough on this, and I would like to move on and think to the future. Yeah, because this World Cup tore me apart mentally and physically and emotionally and everything. This journey, the way that team walked out in the middle against the Netherlands, it really broke me, because, and maybe I'm being dramatic, or people will say I'm being dramatic about this, but we sacrificed a lot for this team. Cricket's not a short game. It's hours of sacrifice for fans or people that are in the industry working, doing it. I mean, I'm dedicating my life almost to it. So it was really heartbreaking to see the way they went onto that field and the way they looked on that field, majority of them. The only one that could hold their head up high, really, and say that he gave an effort was Andrik Nokia. And I could say, even to an extent, Aiden Markin tried, Bavuma tried in that match to give something with the bat. He wasn't good enough, unfortunately. They weren't good enough. But I don't know, the body language, I just didn't seem like their energies were high, like Boucher said. The observation was correct. And it was really heart-wrenching. And I'm still struggling to get over it. I'm still trying to stay confident and positive, because the next generation need our support now. This last team hurt us all and destroyed us. So it's now time to look ahead and try to motivate the next generation so that we can prevent this from happening in the future again. Why isn't Victor fronting up? That's the biggest question. Actually, let me ask. I'm going to try to message him and ask him if he wants to come on and have a chat. Let's see what he has to say. According to that, the Rickleton, RVD are the only real middle order options at the moment. Reinhardt hasn't done enough in SAA and away from Bloom at the moment, says Liago. I still feel that loss against Netherlands, you're not being dramatic at all. Khalid, I'm back. Brevis at number 3, always not even conversation with anyone. Huh? We've spoken, bro. I think we've pushed Brevis a lot on this channel. I mean, I've had him 3 times already on shows, so I don't think you can say we don't support their Brevis. I agree, it's been an emotional journey for us fans all those years, and it will be in the future. I hope it won't. Khalid, don't make remember that the Dutch game. Don't make remember that the Dutch game wasted my time waking up at 2 a.m. Yeah. I'm worried about the ODI World Cup qualifications. The way we are playing, I don't know. I feel we won't qualify for the World Cup after playing qualifiers. I'm ready to get hurt again. I think let's just not have any expectations for that. I think we as a fan base need to accept that we're going to have to reset. I hope that is where they're looking, that's what they're looking at, that they are looking to rebuild and reset, knowing Enoch strategies that he puts in place. He has a plan. So I think we just need to believe in this plan and push. If we see something we don't agree with, of course, let's talk about it. And that's why it says it on our thumbnails. Um, but let's move forward together. I think let's reset and move forward together, and I hope that we can try and promote the next generation. Don't even class and name very irritating. I feel sorry for Rwanda Swat. He got injured just before the T20 challenge. Yeah, it's a big sadness for me as well. Big fan of him. I miss having a chat with him. Normally, we talk a lot when we at games, etc., and we get an opportunity when he's sometimes to have a chat at the field. I hope that I get to see him when the Dolphins do come down to Newlands or to Poland. Guys, we're playing qualification. Let's prepare ourselves for that. Yes, we need to. Jordan Herman's a good option as well, but I think he needs another season, guys. We need to be patient with him. He's a bloody talent, that boy. Yo, keep the expectations with the Proteas is expecting failure to get success. Okay, guys, thanks a lot for tuning in. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Please enjoy your Friday evening. Stay safe and enjoy your weekend as well. We will probably see you Sunday evening for another podcast show. It will be a lot to talk about after the World Cup final. Stay safe, guys. Khalid, any insight on why Brevis and Fantonda didn't play? Is it a numbers issue? We're investigating the Fantonda issue. Brevis, I have no idea. I don't think it's got to do with the numbers issue because there are white players in the team that they could have replaced. So I don't think that's a numbers issue necessarily. But guys, thanks. Stay safe. Enjoy the rest of your evening, and we'll see you guys again on Sunday evening. Enjoy your weekend, please. Have fun, relax, have some me time, and I'll see you guys very, very soon. Peace out.